Hey guys, before beginning, an apology for the not so good audio. I am not in my usual place. In any case, in this video I wanted to share my thoughts about the sad reality of the physical format. Now, just to be clear, the idea isn't to bring a debate between physical and digital formats. I believe both have advantages and disadvantages. So let me know, what is your opinion about this topic of physical and digital with extra steps? Once said that, for those who have followed this channel for a while, you know I have like 90% of a physical collection. What is cool is that it works as a form of personal memory. They are like a gamer's journey, if that makes sense. At least what I like about the physical format is that you can move it relatively easy, and you don't need an online connection, aside from specific cases like this paperweight. The thing is that, as time has passed, the physical format has attracted many debates. If memory works well, Microsoft talked about having to be online at every moment. And yeah, it didn't go that well. Years later, Sony tried to do something similar, and not so long with an incident in PSN, plenty of players lost their heads. However, a new turning point comes with a big N. Don't worry, I'll get there. The thing is that the physical format had another cool purpose, not just having the game like this. In the RPG genre it was usual that they had a decent manual with some art, cool looking maps, lore, and so on. But it is fair to mention that many manuals were like this Pokémon. Well, simple, it was a nice reason to get the physical releases. Unfortunately, as time has passed, the industry got rid of these manuals. We are talking about the transition between PS2 to PS3, Wii to Wii U, etc, etc. Of course, we have lived through that period for a while. At least, I know this transition didn't see that much resistance because not so many people really cared about these little manuals, as they were, in plenty of cases, like a basic start. Therefore, if they are taken out, no biggies. What's a bit sad is that there was another transition to emptier physical releases. For example, this copy of The Lost Child. It is practically barren, there is no soul, but it doesn't mean everything has been lost, because there are still some companies that release interesting physical games. Nippon Ichi Software is one of those cases I respect, because oftentimes they give you the soundtrack, some little pieces of art, lore, etc, etc. What is fun is that they receive another kind of name, like the Lots Edition. And like this, there are players who create physical manuals, let's say like Love for Art, oftentimes charging like $10 for such pieces, which at the end of the day complement these kinds of physical releases. And to be honest, I would be willing to pay if that meant getting a complete physical release back. That is partially the reason why I like to get collector's edition, preferably those that contain art books and soundtracks, but that is part of another topic. With this idea, even when editions like this one exist, I still appreciate that we can get something physical. There is something magical in having the chance to touch and order your games however you like. I know some part of the audience may be like, yeah, whatever boomer, and it is alright. At the end of the day, we buy what we want. Nonetheless, the industry is turning kinda nasty since some years back, because some releases have nothing inside, like who in their right mind would like to get a box with nothing but a code inside, or get a key card? Now, wait a second, this is not Nintendo. With this, don't get me wrong, I have messed up before, with this Horizon Forbidden West Collector's Edition. Mea culpa, I didn't catch this little text. The point here is that Nintendo didn't properly start this whole mess. It has been around since quite some time. The deal is that third parties have been looking for these kinds of conditions for a while. Think about it, there is no digital Switch edition like PS5 or Xbox. What's unfortunate is that this practice has turned into something a bit more usual. As far as I know, there are some Tales and Final Fantasy games that sell you an empty box with a download code, which is BS in my humble opinion. That is like a step a bit lower than the key cards. Now, the way I see this is like a kind of experiment, because Nintendo's using the complete format for their own games, but third parties simply adopted these key cards, which left a lot to be said. Some polls were sent, and yeah, the thing is now known as people dislike this format. What's sad is when companies like NIS get caught in the middle of this weird transition, because they have defended the key card thing, and so far, I believe we all have spoken. We don't like this idea. And that is easy to see in some releases like the Neo Trails and Disgaea 7. It is no coincidence they have 100% stock. The whole mess is that third parties accepted this format just because they want the biggest profit while selling or renting a game, leaving us, the customer, with little to no option, because this whole situation may turn into something worse. I mean, this is just a speculation from my side, but let's imagine no one buys these key cards, then the higher ups will see that as, nah, the physical format died, no one is buying it anymore, potentially turning their whole catalog into digital only. I hope it doesn't reach that point, and things change for the better. I mean, we have shared our opinion about key cards, nonetheless the reality right now is a bit in the dark. Whatever the case, at the end of the day, let's put things into perspective. While this one was pricier, for a little bit, in the long run this one will hold a bigger value. And ironically, these kind of practices have gone to many other products, like books, music, and so on. I hope you found this video informative, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.